Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history, Paul McCartney being kicked off Lorraine Kelly's show following a heated confrontation that left viewers stunned and social media buzzing for weeks. Picture this, it's a crisp autumn morning in London, and the iconic Beatles legend, Sir Paul McCartney, now in his 80s but still exuding that timeless charm and rockstar aura, steps onto the set of ITV's Lorraine. The studio is alive with anticipation. Fans have been eagerly awaiting this interview where Paul is set to promote his latest solo album, a reflective piece drawing on his decades in the music industry. Lorraine Kelly, the beloved Scottish presenter known for her warm, bubbly personality and ability to make even the gruffest celebrities open up, greets him with her signature smile and a hug that seems genuine at first glance. The conversation starts lightheartedly enough, with Lorraine asking about Paul's family life, his grandchildren, and how he's keeping fit in his later years. Paul responds with his usual wit, sharing anecdotes about gardening at his countryside estate and how music still fuels his soul. But as the minutes tick by, subtle tensions begin to simmer beneath the surface. Lorraine, perhaps prompted by her producers to dig deeper for those juicy sound bites that drive ratings, steers the talk towards more controversial waters. She brings up the long-standing rumors about the Beatles' breakup, questioning Paul's role in the dissolution of the band and insinuating that his ego might have played a bigger part than he's admitted in past interviews. Paul chuckles at first, trying to deflect with humor, but his eyes narrow slightly, a telltale sign that the line has been crossed. The audience in the studio senses the shift, their murmurs growing as Lorraine presses on, referencing old quotes from John Lennon that paint Paul in a less flattering light. Undeterred, Paul counters with stories of camaraderie and creativity. But Lorraine interrupts, her tone sharpening as she accuses him of rewriting history to suit his narrative. The exchange heats up, with Paul defending his legacy passionately, his voice rising just a notch above his usual calm demeanor. Viewers at home are glued to their screens, wondering if this is scripted drama or a real unraveling. The producers in the control room exchange nervous glances, but the show must go on. Lorraine, sensing the viral potential, doesn't back down, probing further into Paul's personal relationships, including his marriages and how they've influenced his songwriting. Paul, ever the gentleman, tries to steer back to positives, but the frustration is evident in his furrowed brow and clipped responses. This opening segment sets the stage for what would become an unforgettable clash, blending nostalgia with raw emotion in a way that daytime TV rarely delivers. As the commercial break approaches, the tension is palpable, leaving everyone on edge for what's to come next in this unexpected showdown between two British icons. Resuming after the break, the atmosphere in the studio has thickened like fog over the Thames, with Paul McCartney shifting uncomfortably on a plush sofa while Lorraine Kelly sips her tea, her eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and determination. The conversation dives deeper into Paul's environmental activism, a topic close to his heart since his days with Linda promoting vegetarianism. Lorraine commends his efforts at first, mentioning his campaigns against factory farming and climate change, but then she pivots sharply, questioning the hypocrisy of a rock star who flies private jets while preaching about carbon footprints. Paul, taken aback, explains his carbon offset initiatives and how he's reduced his travel. But Lorraine counters with statistics from recent reports, her voice laced with skepticism that borders on accusation. The audience gasps softly as Paul leans forward, his Liverpool accent thickening with emotion, defending his lifelong commitment and pointing out that change starts with individuals but requires systemic shifts. The back and forth escalates, with Lorraine bringing up Paul's wealth and how it insulates him from the realities faced by everyday people struggling with eco-friendly choices. Paul retorts that his platform amplifies voices that otherwise go unheard, citing collaborations with younger activists. But Lorraine isn't satisfied. She probes into his business dealings, insinuating that some of his investments contradict his green ethos. The camera zooms in on Paul's face, capturing the flush of anger as he accuses the show of ambushing him with loaded questions designed for controversy rather than constructive dialogue. Lorraine defends her journalistic integrity, stating that tough questions are part of holding public figures accountable. The exchange turns personal when Lorraine references Paul's age, suggesting perhaps it's time for him to step back and let a new generation lead the charge. Paul, visibly irked, reminds her of his enduring relevance, from sold-out tours to chart-topping collaborations. The studio falls into an uneasy silence punctuated by awkward laughter from the crew. Viewers flood social media with reactions, some siding with Paul for his poise under fire, others praising Lorraine for not softballing the interview. As the segment progresses, Paul attempts to lighten the mood with a Beatles anecdote, but Lorraine steers it back to contention, asking about unresolved feuds with former bandmates' estates. Paul's patience wears thin, his responses becoming shorter, his body language screaming discomfort. The producers signal for another break, but the damage is done. The confrontation has ignited a fire that threatens to consume the entire show. This middle act reveals the cracks in what was supposed to be a celebratory appearance, turning it into a battle of wills that exposes vulnerabilities on both sides. The narrative builds suspense, drawing in audiences who thrive on celebrity drama, while highlighting broader themes of accountability in the public eye. As the interview barrels into its third segment, the heated confrontation between Paul McCartney and Lorraine Kelly reaches a boiling point, with sparks flying like fireworks over the London skyline. Lorraine, emboldened by the online buzz already trending under hashtags like #PaulVersusLorraine, delves into Paul's recent political statements, questioning his outspoken views on Brexit and how they've alienated some fans. Paul, a staunch Remainer, passionately argues for unity and against division, but Lorraine challenges him on the economic impacts, citing opinions from her viewers who feel differently. The debate intensifies as Paul accuses the media, including shows like hers, of fueling polarization for ratings. Lorraine fires back, defending free speech and the role of television in reflecting diverse opinions. The audience applauds sporadically, divided in their loyalties. Paul, growing more animated, gestures emphatically, his voice echoing through the studio as he recounts personal stories of how global issues affect his family. Lorraine interrupts, suggesting his celebrity status gives him a detached perspective, which Paul vehemently denies, sharing tales of grassroots involvement. The clash peaks when Lorraine brings up a sensitive topic, the legacy of Linda McCartney and how Paul has commercialized her memory through products. Paul's eyes flash with hurt and anger, calling it a low blow and an invasion of privacy. He stands up briefly, pacing a step or two, before sitting back down, his composure cracking. The control room is in chaos, with producers debating whether to cut to commercials early. On screen, Lorraine tries to de-escalate, but Paul isn't having it, questioning her motives and preparation. Viewers at home are captivated, live-tweeting every exchange, turning the show into a real-time spectacle. The narrative weaves in elements of Paul's storied past, from Beatlemania to solo triumphs, contrasting with Lorraine's image as the nation's sweetheart. This escalation underscores the fragility of public personas under scrutiny, making for compelling television that's both entertaining and thought-provoking. As tempers flare, the possibility of a walkout looms large, heightening the drama to unprecedented levels. In the pivotal fourth segment, the confrontation erupts into full-blown chaos, with Paul McCartney and Lorraine Kelly trading barbs that echo through the annals of TV infamy. Lorraine, perhaps sensing the interview slipping away, attempts to pivot to lighter fare, asking about Paul's favorite Beatles songs, but Paul, still smarting from earlier jabs, redirects to defend his integrity. He accuses the show of sensationalism, comparing it to tabloid journalism that prioritizes scandal over substance. Lorraine, defensive, retorts that guests like him benefit from the exposure, sparking a meta-debate on celebrity and media symbiosis. The audience murmurs grow louder, some cheering Paul on, others urging calm. Paul, his voice rising, recounts instances where media misrepresentation has harmed his reputation, pointing a finger metaphorically at Lorraine's approach. She counters by highlighting positive coverage he's received, but Paul dismisses it as selective. The tension culminates when Lorraine questions Paul's relevance in today's music scene, suggesting younger artists have eclipsed the old guard. Paul, offended, lists his recent achievements, from Grammy nods to streaming records, his passion igniting like a stage light. The producers intervene subtly, but Paul removes his microphone clip in frustration, declaring he's done with the interrogation. Lorraine, shocked, asks him to stay, but Paul stands firm, walking towards the exit amid gasps from the crowd. The camera follows his departure, capturing the stunned expressions on everyone's faces. Social media explodes with clips and memes, debating who was right. This climactic moment transforms a routine promo spot into a cultural talking point, exploring themes of respect, ageism, and the power dynamics in interviews. The aftermath promises repercussions for both parties, with fans rallying in support. Following Paul's dramatic exit, the show plunges into disarray, with Lorraine Kelly left to address the elephant in the room, or rather, the empty sofa, as producers scramble to fill the remaining airtime. Lorraine, composing herself with professional grace, apologizes to viewers for the abrupt turn, explaining that passions ran high but emphasizing respect for Paul's contributions to music. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest the confrontation was unplanned, fueled by mismatched expectations. Paul, meanwhile, is escorted out by staff, his team issuing a statement later that day expressing disappointment in the interview's direction but affirming his commitment to honest dialogue. Media outlets pounce on the story, with headlines blaring about the Beatles' bombshell and analyses dissecting every word. Fans divide into camps, some decry Lorraine as aggressive, others laud her for bold questioning. Paul's supporters flood his socials with messages of solidarity, while critics accuse him of thin skin. The incident sparks broader discussions on celebrity interviews, with experts weighing in on boundaries and ethics. Lorraine's ratings spike, ironically benefiting from the fiasco, as clips go viral globally. Paul, undeterred, continues his tour, incorporating subtle nods to the event and performances. This resolution phase ties up the narrative threads, reflecting on how such moments humanize icons and remind us of the pressures they face. The video concludes with calls for empathy and media interactions. In the wake of this unforgettable clash, the ripple effects continue to shape public perception of both Paul McCartney and Lorraine Kelly, turning a single interview into a case study for future broadcasters. Paul's team leverages the buzz to promote his album, spinning the narrative as a stand for authenticity against sensationalism. Lorraine, in subsequent episodes, addresses the fallout lightly, joking about spirited discussions while maintaining her affable image. Industry insiders speculate on behind-the-scenes tensions, with rumors of pre-interview agreements broken. Social media analytics show millions of views on related content, boosting algorithms and spawning parodies. Cultural commentators explore themes of generational conflict, with Paul's boomer resilience clashing against modern scrutiny. Fans organize petitions for apologies, while others celebrate their honesty. Paul's music sees a streaming surge, introducing classics to new audiences. Lorraine's show adapts, perhaps softening approaches to high-profile guests. This epilogue underscores the enduring power of television to spark debate and connection, leaving viewers pondering the fine line between entertainment and intrusion. As the dust settles, both emerge stronger, their legacies enriched by this fiery encounter.